I know. Hello! Oh my golly, look at me, I look nuts. It's a Thursday, and it's a touch. Even the dog's hot. Are you hot? Yes, and the hot breath is not doing it for me. And he's hot too. Hello, darling. Ew. You slobbery. He's just been eating my hydrangeas. We had a stern word. Hello, darling. Didn't we? We had a big stern word, and you said, but I love hydrangeas. They're like my afternoon snack. And well, it didn't go down very well. It was not appreciated by the management, Arlo, at all. Oh, we're sitting outside, and it's oh so clammy, very clammy. And I think we're probably not as bad as some other places in the country, though. But it is a touch warm, I would say. Just a touch. So, since Tuesday, what's been happening since Tuesday? Well, we moved all the chickens around yesterday, and the turkey and the ducks, and that was just like super fun in the hot weather. And they weren't really being very obliging, to be quite honest with you. They were like, came out, don't eat that either. Honestly, both of them. Ella has a terrible problem. She's a blue Great Dane, and she loves eating wasps, bees, flies, anything that flies. Ella Bell. She eats everything that flies, and I don't know why she does not get stung. Why do you not get stung, darling? No idea. They're like spicy raisins, so they're like her flying spicy raisins, and she sticks her head. We used to have a massive down our driveway. It used to be box balls, and we always used to have wasps that lived in them. And she used to go down the driveway and stick this enormous nose in the box balls, shake her head to disturb all the bees and make them super angry. Yeah, then you'd snap at them and eat them, and I'd get stung. It was a dream combination, wasn't it? A dream combination. No, it wasn't. It was absolutely lethal. But it was like her sort of like summer fly fixation, and didn't seem to bother her at all. So I think no words for this dog. She's a stunner. Anyway, so we decided to move all the chickens and Sally and talk about not having your ducks in a row. We didn't have chickens in a row, and Sally went back to the barn by herself and lay down. So I have to get this straight in my head, otherwise I'll be giving out misinformation. So the barn chickens are now in what used to be the duck house, and they are on the I'm not sure which camera overlooks the pond from the tea tent. Anyway, they're on that camera. And in that paddock, we obviously have the two chickens that do the outreach jobs, and we have the turkey, Miss Sally. We have the two ducks, and we've got our big fluffy chicken, Petunia. She's in there. We've got the ginger chicken, and we've got Fitzwilliam, the rooster. And now that he is down there, he is calling to the roosters up at my house, and they're talking to each other, which makes it quite noisy, I will say. So they're in there, and we moved the bantam chickens from the white chicken coop into the barn. So there are 9 of them, and they're a variety of some sort of bantam chicken. There's 8 bantams, and there is 1 chicken that is a blue egg layer, and I can't remember what it's called. But they're in there, and none of those chickens, you'll be glad to hear, have names, because I'm terrible at remembering names. So feel free to make up your own, and just don't expect anyone to remember them, because it's lethal. But some of those little chickens are really quite interesting, because they're a very different shape to our sort of like our regular chickens. So it'll be interesting to see just what they're going to going to turn out like. The white silkies, I have always hoped we could get another white silky. Do you remember the little white silky rooster that we used to have when we used to take him out on jobs, and he was wonderful? Well, I'm hoping that those 2 white silky chickens will maybe be able to do a similar sort of job. In addition to the white silkies, we've got a black silky, and I said to Janine she'd be good for her Halloween. And we also have a frizzle silky, and that's a sort of chestnutty colour. So they're in there, and I have no idea what the other ones are. So we'll have to wait till they grow fully, and then we'll work out and see what we can do with them. But goodness, they are really flighty, and they're sort of like Harrier jets. They take off from a sitting and they go up the way. They don't need a running jump, this lot. It was quite something, because trying to catch them to get them over was it was quite an exciting experience. So that was good. And the ducks are doing well with their little pond. I've got a video that I'm hoping to put up of me panting. I'm hoping to put up of the new duck, and that duck's swimming in the little pool and splashing around. So that was good. I've no idea whether that's male or female. Somebody could probably better tell me. It took us so long to work out what the other ducks were. So. Yeah, it does seem quite a bit smaller than the white duck though. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm wondering if it's quite a young duck. I'm not sure at all. Not been a duck expert, quite frankly. And what else have we been up to? We've been... Janine, Justin and Carleen were away out on a job this morning, and Percy got a bath, and that was... Oh, I've got a wee... In the woodland at the back, I've got a little green hummingbird. That's nice. That's the first time I've seen one in a while. And Percy came back, and he's just had a bath. And Janine was up at the house, and I was speaking with her, and it sounded like somebody was being murdered. So I said, "Do you think he's okay?" And she went, "I don't know. I better go and check." So she beetled off down the driveway. But honest to goodness, he squeals. It is like... It's like a slow tortured death. It really is something else. He's quite vocal when he gets going, is that pig. And yeah, so we think we've located the gap where Billy Black, the goat, was getting out. So we've filled that in, and so far today he's not been out. Rather silly though. I thought that he not only got out, but he also managed to get himself back in, because when I saw him wandering, kind of like knew he was there. But it turns out that Michelle and Janine had been putting him back in, so he wasn't actually making his own way back in. So yeah, we're going to try and keep him in as opposed to in and out. So so that will be something else. We've got so many flies. There's a fly that's trying to eat me here. It follows me all the way down the driveway to the post box, and it just buzzes around my head, and I pick it up at the gates up at the house, and I walk down looking like I'm demented. I'm swatting all over the place, and it's now worked out where I live, because just before I went mail chat, it was buzzing around my head again, and I'm like, that's it, I'm done for, now that the fly knows where I live. It's a very pretty fly, actually. It's a sort of iridescent green, but it's a right pain in the butt. So I'm hoping it buzzes off and leaves me in peace. I think we're expecting thunder this evening, which is always exciting. But the weather has changed quite frequently today. Actually, I think it was supposed to have been raining originally at lunchtime, and that's held off. But it is heck of a muggy, and I keep just remembering what winter's like, because I love winter, and it's not anything like this, that much I know. So, and I think at least I was speaking to Isaiah this morning, and at least and he said it was exceptionally hot as well, so at least it wasn't just me. I'm beginning to feel the odd person out, always complaining about how hot it is. So we're trying out a solar fan in one of the barns at the moment, because we have a little sheep, and she's called Dolly, and she gets terribly hot, and she seems to be... They've all been shorn, and that we don't shear them more than once a year, because if we were to shear them again for a second time now, they wouldn't grow their coats in properly for the winter. So our real problem is that our poor Dolly is desperately unappreciative of the hot weather, and she lies in the barn or she stands with her head down and she looks very, very sorry for herself. And so we're trying a fan, but that barn doesn't actually have electricity in it. So Nick put up a solar panel on the outside, and we have a solar fan inside. So we're hoping that might relieve some of her heat problems. I'm going to go and stand underneath it as well. And but that's the first time I've ever used a solar fan. So it's a large solar fan, and it's a proper barn fan with the enclosed motor, etc. So we just need to see whether or not that works out. And then of course, once he put that on and the fan was going, I'm sitting there thinking, I wonder what else I could use a solar panel for, and that I could power in this barn, because it's quite an advantage being able to have electricity in a barn. So thinking about water heaters, thinking about what else can I convert to solar. Anyway, so something to think about, something to get excited about. And we're finding it looks like it's going to be like this for the next few days, and then towards the end of next week it's maybe going to go back down in temperature. But I think if we could get rid of the humidity, that might be quite nice. And in fact, last night it was actually very pleasant, round about 8 o'clock when it was dark. And yeah, so the little chickens that were in the house, that Janine's two ladies who were broody, they rejected the little chicks, so they had been up in the house with me with my chinchillas in the sunroom. So they have now moved down into the white chicken house, and they seem to be doing quite nicely in there at the moment. So their first night was yesterday. Went down to check them this morning, and Janine checked them too. So they're looking fine down there. So now I've managed to clean out my chinchilla palace, and they have got all the space back to themselves, and they're quite relieved, because little chicks make quite some noise. So that was fortunate. So they're in a good place now with a nice clean house. So that's super. And we're just still continuing with our clear out. It takes so long to clear things out, but I suppose we've had about 30 years to gather it, so we may as well just keep going and make progress. It might not be fast progress, but it is some form of progress. And you'll be glad to hear it doesn't look like I've managed to kill any plants this week. Everything seems to be surviving, even the indoor plants, which is an absolute miracle, because I have real problems with those. So that is very good news. I do have more to plant up in planters, but get there. Never ending when you're trying to tend plants and keep them alive. So let me have a looky-see at the questions, if there are any. And you have to ask questions, because otherwise I'll just sit and ramble about my plants and bees and my dogs and how hot the weather is. And I think I've told you about the weather. Oh, well, Arlo. This dog is Arlo. Oops. This is my big boy. And this dog is Ella. Ah, thank you, everyone. That's lovely. So that's my Ella Bella. I know. And these are my rescue dames. Boof, boof, boof. Thank you, go away. Enough. Yeah, you're just, you're making me warmer. You little bear. Mwah. Right, I can't see the questions with your big head. I know, I called you over. It was my fault. It was my fault. In fact, it wasn't. It was Tiggy's fault. Right, I know. There we go. Want me to pop you in the house? You want to go back in? Excuse me. I'll maybe just... Right, let me stand up. No, I'm going to stand up, guys. Right, or why don't you go and lie down? Go lie down in the shade. We'll go in a minute. So that's Arlo. He's the black dog, and the blue dog is Ella Bella. Well, Ella. Yes, hydrangeas are also poisonous for donkeys and whatever. It's and goats, etc. It's the flowers he's eating. Typical, isn't it? Well, maybe it's a Dane thing. Honestly, she's voracious. She's absolutely, it's like, we call them, there she goes, see? Jumping around looking for them. We call them her spicy sky raisins. And it's the most bizarre thing. And you would, see, she's just sitting there looking for them. Hey! Because I've got them in those trees. You see, so she'll go and she'll snap. And that'll be her. Yeah, she's a blue Dane, which is really a dark grey Dane, but she's a blue Dane. She was the girl that came from down south, and she was sent up to me because she had such a large heartworm load, and we had to use the injections to try and kill them off. But when you're using the injections, you have to keep them very quiet. So she was hand walked on a leash, and she basically had to be kept in a crate. And we had other dogs, so it was she had company, but she couldn't get out and run around. So for just over a year, she was kept on a very low key regime. So that was really quite something. And then we had her rescanned, and she does still have heartworm, but we maintain them with HeartGuard tablets. And the problem is, when she came into us, she hadn't been spayed, and they didn't want to spay her because they weren't very keen to do an anaesthetic for her, you see. And so she's still not spayed, because I'm always a bit worried that we do anything invasive and her heart doesn't hold up to it. So I've always had this thought that, we've done our best by her. We keep her as healthy as we can, and she's pretty active. She's about 8 now, and Arlo's about 7, we think. They're both rescues, so we don't really know. But she's older. She's still hanging on in there. She's got lumps and bumps. She's got non-cancerous lumps and bumps. And, some people say, why don't you get them cut off? I said, because she needs an anaesthetic, and we don't want to give her an anaesthetic. So this lady, we have spent our time maintaining, trying to make sure that she gets nothing done that needs an anaesthetic. But she's just a big goofy girl. So we do love her. Janine is painting the railings at the front of the house on the deck. Now I'm taking this bit here as being the back of the house. That looks like over the hill. I painted this bit last year and round the window frames. So we've just got another 3 sides to paint, really. Oh, is it not? I wonder if Janine knows that. Oh, has it been down for a while? No, not that I'm aware of. Let's them off. Come. No, my chickens are okay. One of them got pecked at by a hawk, though. But I haven't had foxes up here, not quite yet. And I don't think there have been any down there. The white chicken house is really secure. It's a really good little chicken hut. That was the one that the gentleman came for a week and built that and then left. So it's a super little thing. Now, so the dogs are Arlo and Ella. I only found that out today, that Bella had moved into her new apartment. Isn't that really exciting? Good luck to Bella. I'm sure she'll have a wonderful time. I do still have chickens by my house, and the chickens that are by my house are actually in the Deagle house. And while the camera is pointed down the hill towards the tea tent, you can't see them, but they are down there somewhere. Yes, Percy was fine. He was just been given a bath. and protesting very loudly. He doesn't like being washed. I mean, it's I think his worst nightmare. And the funny thing is, he came back from the job today. When they took the crate out, he ran over into a puddle on the driveway and just wallowed in it, which is just what pigs do, isn't it, really? So I presume that's why Justin was cleaning him up before he went into Carlene's house. Yeah, he's a character, that pig. He's very willful. Oh yeah, we found the gap where Billy was escaping, and we put a big fence post along the bottom, and that seems to have stopped him so far, which is good. Oh, I've got some of those, but you know, this blinking fly that chases me down the driveway lives somewhere down there, and I'm sure it's the same one that sits and lies in wait for me every day when I walk down to the mailbox. I'm sure it's not. It is a steam bath. And you know, the funny thing is, I've got this, pulmonary obstructive disease. And so one of the things I've been told to do is, I've got a steam generator that I inhale in the morning to try and clear everything out, and which makes me really, really hot. But I should just sit outside because it's just the same thing. It just doesn't smell like eucalyptus though, which is a shame. I'm very much looking forward to winter. I don't even find fall sometimes. Sometimes fall is a bit hit or miss. When we moved here, we came here on October the 11th, and we'd come into what we call in the UK an Indian summer, and which is normally a summer that hits sort of like September, you know, later into autumn, fall sort of time. And so when we came here, we had, you know, sort of like fall weight clothes. It was up in the 80s. We were in the water down in Dennis and on the Cape. We were like, oh my goodness, this is absolutely incredible. And then, so we came here in October the 11th, or was it the 1st? I can't remember. And then by October the 31st, we had lost all power for 5 days and had no generator or anything because there was a massive snowstorm that wiped out Halloween. And we were like, what is this place? We were in the beginning of the month or the middle of the month, whichever time it was. We were in the sea. And then at the end of the month, they've cancelled Halloween because there's so much blinking snow. It's like, this is madness, absolute madness. So yes, it's like a steam bath. I'm not holding out for fall. I'm holding out for full-on winter. So there. I'm still going through these questions, so pop anything up if you want an answer. Yeah, their breath is really hot. and they've got big buckets of water, so they've normally just had a drink and they come and they dribble all over you and then they shake their mouths. They're stunning, those two. They're very happy dogs. They're just big lumps. And Ella was actually very sad because she's like a skeleton. I have tremendous trouble keeping weight on her, let alone getting weight on her. She was abandoned in a repossessed house, and I think the previous owners, what they had done was they had left her a bag of dog food. And obviously, you know, a dog isn't going to say, right, that's Monday's dinner time, Tuesday's breakfast is here, Tuesday's dinner is here. They don't do that. They just eat it. And she'd been there for quite some time. And when the person came to show the house, it was a repossession auction, I think, and they found the dog in the back, and she was absolutely skeletal, and obviously riddled with heartworm. And so she was taken into animal control, took her in, and they did all the vet work on her and realised that she was in quite a mess. So the time of, there's a specific time that you can, you know, go and claim your dog back. And it fortunately, look, there she is, checking out for bees. And the time was up. But as my friend had said, there was no way she was going back to the family because they'd abandoned her. And the day before she was due to be transported up to me, they came in and they said they wanted the dog back because she was their breed dog, which is obviously why she wasn't fixed. And she was about 18 months when she came to us, we think. And so she's she's an absolute mess, but she's a happy big girl, but she's a bit nervous at times. She's very much a one-person dog, and she likes a bit of security, which I think stands to reason. Arlo is the dog that got into a fight with Larky a while back. So Ella, I think, is 8 or 9. We're really not very sure because no vet records for her. And Arlo, we think, is about 7. He could be 8 as well. We just don't know. So they're slightly older. Still very active though, and their hips are in great condition, which is something I always worry about with Danes. So when she's in heat, we have super fun in the house. We just keep her away from. I don't have all of my dogs are fixed, so I just keep her in one part of the house, and nobody else really goes near her. But she's very clingy when she's in heat, so that's actually quite easy. And she goes in and we just put pads down and she stays with Sophie, and Sophie looks after her. No. I'm sure Janine's working to get the camera back up. I think I remember her saying something about it was still plugged in. No idea. I'm still reading. I can't wait for fall either, but remember, it's the end of fall and into winter. We're really looking for Fernanda because you can't trust fall either. Poof. Ooh. No. You snap them, like just flick them and they get cold again. No. What I did was Hilda sent me a link to their disposable towels, and you take them out of the packet and you slap them around your neck, and they're absolutely super. And they last for about half an hour, which is very often time for me to get out and run around barns and then get back in and do things inside. I have actually had a little bit of success re-wetting them when they dried out, and you get a few more minutes, 5 or 10 more minutes maybe out of them, because it's absolutely miserable right now. I'll look for those towels though. Yeah, she's a good big girl. Oh, okay, I've done all the questions, I think. So I will be back next week. I hope everybody has a lovely weekend. I'm on full days on Meredith Saturdays and Sundays, and I'll tell you, it's going to be hot. But not much we can do about that, so we'll just get on with it. And I'll try and get more videos. My little foal is doing beautifully. He is absolutely hilarious. He is just all legs and full of nonsense. Pam's horse, Katie, is beautiful. She came in on Sunday, and her companion, we've got a terrible problem. Well, nobody else has got a terrible problem, but I've got a terrible problem because he's called Merlin, and everybody thinks that's a girl's name, and I think I've told you that, so I'm calling him Magic. So there, and I'll maybe try and get some pictures of them. And there's the husband.
Hey, can I talk to you for a minute?
Okay, right. See you later. Bye.